I'm Rhett.
And I'm Link.
And you're watching Behind the Brand
with Brian Elliott.
Nice. Hey, I'm Brian Elliott. Welcome to another edition of Behind the Brand. Today I'm here in the amazing Good Mythical Morning Studios with the beautiful, can I say, Rhett and Link.
Please say that.
Guys, thanks for having us to your amazing studio space. This is legendary.
Thanks for being here.
Welcome.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Are you comfortable?
We talked about this off on camera. I would have liked an ottoman, but that's okay.
Hey, we offered an ottoman. We have a broken one that you could use.
It's okay. So let's get to Good Mythical Morning. What is Good Mythical Morning? For those who haven't seen the show, people living in a cave. Break it down. What is the show?
Good Mythical Morning is us sitting at this desk every weekday for 12 to 15 minutes, talking about something, quizzing each other on some ridiculous trivia that we formatted into a game.
Eating something that we probably shouldn't, and you probably shouldn't, but will be entertaining to you if you watch us eat it.
Good. Mythical morning.
Hey kids, we've got a bunch of cool ways you can rebel against your parents.
You won't believe these sports exist, but they do.
This is what the social timeout is for.
It's moist and raw right now.
Oh, it was a little different than I expected it to be.
We ate food out of a toilet and paid for it.
Science is happening on my face.
Whipped cream Wednesday!
Do you want me to tell you how to treat a facial injury?
Where? Is that a threat? Or subjecting ourselves to experiments for the sake of science and entertainment.
So, the tagline is, let's talk about that, but it has very much moved beyond just talking and moved into doing. We do a lot of things. And it's essentially a variety show at this point.
Yeah.
No two episodes are alike.
Can I put you on the spot and let's do something kind of spontaneous? Can we recreate that show or the opening right now like it's a takeover show? Like I'm on your show and let's try to create a little bit of magic with something spontaneous?
Yeah, let's do it. So
usually you would be sitting in the middle.
Okay, so if I'm not sitting in the middle.
If you're over there, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then we would, if we knew what we were doing, we would tease to it. So at the top of the episode, right when people click, they would know, oh yeah, that's what we're getting into.
Give me a little sample of that.
Sometimes it's all about the business. And then you would say,
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And then it would be the opening.
Yeah, but this time we'd be like, sometimes it's all about the business. And then you would say, let's talk about that with Brian Elliott.
Let's talk about that with Brian Elliott.
Yeah.
And then it would start, and then it would come back and I would say, good mythical morning.
We're sitting here at our desk. It's a little unusual because the camera's in a slightly different place and there's a man right over the camera. Brian Elliott's his name and we're on his show. Right.
Welcome to your show with us, Brian Elliott.
Well, I can kind of consider this a takeover show, or like.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Can I?
Well, welcome to taking over our show.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. Do it. Take it over.
I love it. This is going to be the thumbnail. I can already see that.
How tight are your pants? And does it make your back hurt?
Yeah.
Come to think of it, now that you mention it, yeah. What's the deal with back pain and tight pants?
Well, there is a deal. Now, I've had back problems for a long time. They kind of come and go, and I just put on a new pair of pants today that I was like, I think these are tighter than normal. My back is hurting a little bit. Let me Google tight pants and back pain.
So your back hurt worse after you've pulled up the tight pants?
I found myself kind of walking, and I was like, I feel restricted, and it's hurting my lower back.
You've been wearing tight pants for as long as I have.
But I haven't bought a new pair of pants in a while, and even the tight pants loosen up, and they kind of fit a little bit better over time. No, I just put on a new pair of pants and just tried to be myself for the day.
That's your mistake.
So
you got to do squats.
So when I Googled tight pants and back pain, it wasn't just one article. It's like, yes, there is definitely a connection, scientifically established connection, going back to an article that was archived from 1985 from the LA Times. It was like,
the 80s.
Tight pants and back pain, there's a link.
Wasn't a problem in the 90s.
Right. So that's why I'm going exclusively to Jinko jeans starting tomorrow.
These things usually skip a generation, Link.
Back pain?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just like baldness. Mm-hmm.
Does your audience know exactly how tall you are? Can we get a little bit personal?
They do, because I constantly remind them that I'm 6'7", but they are always, without fail, surprised if they see me in person.
And they usually say to me, well, you're taller than I thought you would be.
Yeah, I thought you were really short. Link.
Because they normalize to this weirdo.
And what does that say about
I'm
people?
normal. He's not normal.
What does that say about people? Because 9 out of 10 people or more assume that I'm normal size and that Link is small, versus assuming that Link is normal size and I'm big.
Because there's more small people, smaller than average people, than taller than average people.
No, there's not, because average is defined by the mean, which means that essentially there's the same amount of tall and short on both sides of average. That's what makes it average.
No, it's I think what people are referring to is a medium.
A median.
Yeah, that's what I said. A median.
A median
Like
usually
in
is
a highway.
medium, though. A median number usually represents medium.
So then, Link, what's special about you?
I'm the one with glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, my facial hair grows faster than yours. I think that, but I just haven't.
Well, it's thicker. I think it probably grows at the same rate, but it's darker and there's more of it.
He's threatened by this.
I mean, I'd be less threatened by speed than I was by, I was going to say girth, but that doesn't make any sense. Volume of hair.
What else do I bring to this? Man, I don't know.
Okay, great. So
That's for them to say. If I sit here and say what makes me great, then they'll hate me. I'll let them say that on Twitter when I tweet. Please tell me why you like me.
Well, every single
that every day or
tweet,
two.
every single tweet is really a request to say, "Please tell me why you like me."
Yeah,
We
That's the subtext.
should just begin tweeting that.
that's the subtext of every tweet.
So are you guys reading these comments in the YouTube slots? Are you?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, I mean, even to this day, and I go through phases, but this morning, as an example,
Yeah.
the first thing that I do before I look at the news typically is look at that day's video and just quickly scroll through the comments. And the way that the comments are organized with top comments sort of prioritized, you get the gist of like, okay, is there something that we miscalculated on today's episode that we didn't know about? We didn't anticipate that they were, or,
Is there no video?
Is there something new that we tried that everyone hates or that everyone loves? And so it's not I think the days of going through and looking for personal validation, or are they going to say something about me or what I wore or something like that? They're going to say those things anyway.
Yeah.
But it's more like, is the general reception of this video what we intended it to be? We still definitely look at all that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, because I think, generally speaking, reading the comments is kind of like, those old karate fighters where they're punching the wall and they're really just trying to build up the strength in their hand. So, reading those comments just makes you thicker skinned or more,
Right.
tougher. And there's not a lot of value there. But you guys are finding, feedback like, how can we tweak? How can we refine? Maybe some new idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, but there is an art to kind of pulling out some sort of collective wisdom. I mean, most people don't take the time to really think something through and like, really, what am I going to write and how am I going to? It's not like a letter to grandma. It's like.
When was the last time you wrote a letter to your grandma?
Well, the point is.
I mean, all my grandmas
If I
are dead. You've got two.
But if I did write a
be
letter to
writing
them, I'd think about it and I would put a lot of work into it, which is why I don't do it.
Link, let's just take 2 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. Look right in the camera and say something to your grandma that you might want to say. You haven't said in a long time.
You got two of them. You got to divide it up.
Dear Nana, thanks for being here for this. I know that you're really into entrepreneur. You're an awesome person, and I don't say that enough. And as I'm writing this verbal letter to you, I just want to reflect on how great of a person you are. I wouldn't chew my food nearly as much as I do if you wouldn't have instilled that in me as a child, that I could choke on anything if I didn't masticate it into a paste, even if it's already a paste.
Okay, that's probably enough. And Nanny, the same goes for you, except the chewing part. I'm sure you did something else great.
I'm sorry for poking you in the eye accidentally,
Yeah.
Nanny, and for that whole the cornea
Nanny's
rip thing.
a different one.
But it's better now, and you're beautiful. You're both beautiful women, and you made me the man I am today.
Do they get together?
They don't.
When was the last time Nanny and Nana saw each other?
14 months ago, probably.
Oh, okay. So it's not like it would be.
Maybe they run it. Maybe at the grocery store, they'll run into each other.
They know who each other are.
Well, yes.
They both know that they're your grandma.
They're in the same county.
Okay.
Let's use that as a good transition to ask, who are some of your other inspirations? Who are you looking to, or who do you admire, whether it's in this space or not in this space? Because, I think I get inspiration from everywhere, whether I'm in nature or if I'm in the concrete jungle or if I talk to you guys, like, it gives me ideas, inspiration. Who else are you guys learning from?
That's a good question. I think we are students of what happens to be trending at the, one of the things that we're constantly doing is, people are like, you guys are just doing that for the views. Well, yeah, because the views are our business. So obviously we're still principled, and we're not going to just do something just for the views, and we're not going to put cleavage in the thumbnail unless cleavage is in the video. But I think, people who have been around for a long time, who have reinvented themselves, when I go into the trending videos, I see a friend of ours, Phil DeFranco, quite often. I would say that he's been around for a really long time and has, in the same way that we have, has had fluctuations in how many people are coming to his videos every single day. But he's constantly kind of reinventing himself and his approach. And like lately, he's been focusing more on like YouTube drama, stuff that's happening on YouTube, because now there's this huge group of people who really care about who said what about who and who made a video about this. And he's tapped into that market in a really smart way. I use him as an example.
Yeah, so you're going back to YouTube then. You're staying at the same watering hole.
Yeah.
I would say I'm also inspired by Elon Musk's tweets. Like, the guy can, he's got a great thing going in terms of, the energy business. It's very cool. It's necessary. But then you can tell, even by the way he tweets, that like the way his brain works, that he kind of thinks of something like, I'm in traffic. This is frustrating. I wish there was just a tunnel under here. And then he just tweets like 3 or 4 tweets about that. And then he's like, I'm going to start digging tunnels.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
he's
tweeting, I am going to do this.
He's a doer.
He's a doer. And it's, there's, you can feel the passion in the tweet, and you can see how his mind works. So I'm inspired when I see that. It's like, he had an idea. He wasn't embarrassed to say what he thought, and then to actually turn it into something that he was going to take action on.
Yeah. And I would say from an artistic standpoint, Donald Glover is a big inspiration to us. So, a guy who is, he's a YouTuber too, going way back. He got his Derek comedy going way back in the day is kind of where he started out, and quickly, because he was so talented, got pulled up into 30 Rock writing. But what he's done just in the past, 18 months or so with what he's doing with his music, and how he's just making an album that is exactly what he wants to do. It's the kind of music that he wanted to make, but at the same time having what we think is either the best or among the best television comedies or television shows on right now with Atlanta. Like, doing both of those things so well. He's been a big inspiration for us in terms of just, okay, this guy is just deciding that he has this vision, and he's just going and accomplishing it.
Yeah, so there's some good lessons there. Let's unpack that a little bit. Underscore it for those who may have missed it. It's subtle. I can't remember if I'm getting this right, but I think it's Henry Ford's quote where he says, if they would have asked me if I would have asked the people what they wanted, they would have said, I want, a faster horse. And then, Ford invents the car. And it's kind of what Glover's doing, and some of these others who've just said, even Forrest Gump, I'm going this way, and whoever wants to come with me can come. And then you start this movement, you get all these people running alongside you. So you brought it back full circle to the running.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
take the baton.
I mean, we definitely do talk a lot about, let's give our audience what they don't know they want yet, and not just give them what they're asking for. Yeah,
that's a lot of balance.
Yeah, because it's we learn a lot from them, but then we also have things we want to do. Okay, we wanted to do a larger scale narrative project. And we were talking with YouTube, and that eventually became Buddy System on YouTube Red. But it was in the works for a long time before we could talk about it. And even before we actually started working on it, we knew we wanted to do it. So we had to figure out a way to kind of whet our audience's appetite for that by, getting back to doing more sketches, even though they were loving Good Mythical Morning, and we didn't stop doing that, but we added doing a series of sketches in hopes that in the comments we would see, oh, now that you've given me this, I want more of it.
Yeah.
We're like,
so for us, it doesn't really...
there it is.
It doesn't really work if we can't bring our audience along. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting because you got... Donald Glover's at one end of the spectrum. I mean, he doesn't follow anyone on Twitter, as an example, right? He's got millions of followers. He follows zero. And then he'll just tweet once every couple of months or whatever.
Yeah,
he can get away with that.
Yeah, and it's so diverse, right? Like, so he's doing comedy and then the music, and then now he's in the next Star Wars movie.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah, and he's on a different level. In terms of the level of the things that he's creating, kind of the audience that he has for it in a lot of ways. But there's this very practical approach to everything we do. Like, we're not this. There's a pretty strong left brain, right brain balance in each one of our brains. So it's not like one's the artistic one, one's the practical. We're kind of both represent that balance. And so we're never purely artistic enough to just create something just for us.
Yeah.
But we're also artistic enough to do something that is kind of stretching our audience, but we always have them in mind.
Well, I wanted to ask too, do you ever get pushback either from the executives, I want to talk about YouTube Red in a second, and the audience, hey, wait, time out, you guys are just the Good Mythical Morning guys, you can't do anything else, stay in your lane. You ever get that pushback? Because I think that's something that everyone struggles with. My background is, when I was working through college, I was in action sports, surf, skate, snow,
Right.
back Orange County boy. And then I went to work for the studios. I was at Universal Pictures and then did a little time at Disney, mm-hmm. And I did brand strategy. And I really just fell into production because I was in home entertainment.
Right.
And at that time, we had to justify selling movies on DVD for $30. So I find myself flying out to New York City, meeting up with Robert De Niro, and we'd do an audio commentary, recording him telling us what his diet was like when he was recording Raging Bull,
right?
Which was awesome. And then I got the bug. I got inspired to do this, become a creator instead of repackaging, repurposing, repricing Spielberg stuff or And then for me, when YouTube came out, I thought, this is the sign. The playing field's been leveled. I don't have to be J.J. Abrams. I can be me. Mm-hmm. But talk to me about the pushback. Do you ever get that, you gotta stay in your lane, just, milk it for all it's worth, and then...
Yeah, it does happen, and I think with the success of Good Mythical Morning, which was unexpected in a lot of ways, it was a side project when it started, because we were doing sketch and musical comedy primarily before we did Good Mythical Morning, but then people wanted Good Mythical Morning. It worked with the YouTube algorithm. It worked with rewarding watch time on the site. So we kind of just fell into it. Oh, this is the thing that if somebody recognizes us on the street, 90% of the time it's going to be from Good Mythical Morning. So now it's you're the guys who make that talk show, and now you're doing this narrative thing. Oh, I don't know if you guys can do that. I don't know. YouTubers aren't really good at that. We get that, and I think you get those comments before they even seen the product that you created. And we're well, actually, we started this way, and this is musical comedy and narrative stuff is what we've always done and always wanted to do. And now we're also doing Good Mythical Morning at the same time. So it's the good news is we have Good Mythical Morning. We have this forum that we can talk to our fans, so we kind of educate them on that. And then we make something that we think is good, and they're oh, we're glad you guys are also doing this. But don't take Good Mythical Morning away.
Yeah, we've known that, so we haven't taken it away in order to do something else. We've had to find a way, and this has been a big challenge for us as individuals and as a company to figure out how we're going to keep Good Mythical Morning going, to continue to elevate the content and the quality of it, but
Do you need a
put less
stand-in from
ourselves.
time to time? Like you need someone come
Maybe.
in? I'm just saying it might be available.
Do you have a friend, or do you just do solo?
I could probably carry the show. I've seen it before. I think I got this.
Okay.
Just add a little snow, skate, and what?
Surf.
Right.
Surf.
Right. No,
Exactly.
peel back this onion a little bit. There's
No,
some-
that's it.
there's
I
some
only
layers.
want snow, skate, and surf. That's all I want from you.
Did you know my mother's a professional singer? I do a little.
Really?
Yeah, fairly
Did-
musical.
That skips a generation too, though.
Let's talk about YouTube Red.
Yes.
YouTube Red, in my opinion, is YouTube's answer to Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Break it down. Why should we care? Where can we find it? What's it all about?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the idea is just that there's not necessarily premium content. YouTube, the system of advertising supported content doesn't lend itself to the kind of premium content that people enjoy on cable, and now Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and those kinds of places.
But you've got so many people on YouTube, like the audience is huge, that there's, it makes total sense to me, and they had already figured it out. They didn't ask me. It's like, okay, if we have another model that's a subscription model, then we can elevate the content, but because the audience is already here, so it'd just be one click away.
Yeah.
And then for us specifically, knowing that we wanted to elevate our content, to do something narrative, to do a bigger project, well, we know we want to bring our audience along. What's the least amount of distance they have to travel in order to get to the thing that we want to bring them to?
And also somebody who understands and values what we're already doing on YouTube. I think that's the great thing about working with YouTube on both, having Good Mythical Morning as our main thing and then having Buddy System is like they respect the schedule of Good Mythical Morning. They're like, well, we're going to use Good Mythical Morning as a way to get people to watch Buddy System. We understand how that works. We understand your audience and how they value that. Whereas if we were doing a show with a network, then we'd be like, you guys got to set that internet stuff aside for a while because this is television. They understand that distinction doesn't really exist anymore.
Can I just throw a business term? I think that's called cross-pollination,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Cross-promoting.
Sounds like a biological term.
It's a technical term. It's
It
a
is?
business. Yeah. Very
Okay.
technical.
Yeah, the biologists got it from the business people.
What about the bees? I mean, let's not forget about the bees, man.
No one should.
Right. We wouldn't have any of the crops we have if it weren't for bees. We wouldn't have. Well, there'd be no food.
Yeah.
Link, you make a good point.
I don't think it's where you were going, but
Well,
I'm sorry.
I think we should all kind of think about that. Let's take just a moment. Why?
Think about the bees.
Have you been lured or enticed to come over to a different network or channel like Vimeo or a Netflix or like a Hulu trying to bring you guys over to their side, to the dark side?
I mean, we have those conversations.
Yeah.
And I think that in a lot of ways, because we're trying to figure out how to expand as a company, I mean, Mythical Entertainment is way bigger than just the two of us, and we're trying to do more content that isn't just Rhett Link stuff. If we're going to continue to have a business years from now, it just can't be, hey, we're Good Mythical Morning, and that's it. Old guys saying that, and that's the extent of our content. But in an effort to do that, we still consider lots of different opportunities. We haven't said, okay, well, this YouTube thing, that's it for us as a business. But I think that right now it totally makes sense because Good Mythical Morning is working in a big way for us. And then right when we were kind of getting that bug to be like, we got to make something narrative. How are we going to do that? Are we going to go to Hulu? Are we going to go to Amazon or Netflix are we going to go around town pitching to different networks, which we've done before? We didn't even have to consider that because YouTube was like, hey, guys, we're doing this new thing where we can actually give you some real money to make some real content. And so we didn't even think about taking Buddy System anywhere else.
Yeah.
So definitely for right now, because we're also learning, Buddy System, we made one season of Buddy System. We wrote the whole thing. We had never written that kind of thing before, and we feel really good about it. The fans liked it. We know we can get better at it. It isn't like we haven't peaked when it comes to that kind of content. So for right now, YouTube is a great strategy for us, but it's so difficult to predict.
Yeah.
What's it going to look like 5 years down the road?
I think it's really smart. I just want to maybe restate a couple of things that I'm seeing. Like, you recognize that your audience is in the ecosystem where they want to live, right? Like, I think a lot of marketers make the mistake that, all right, we've got this great idea, we're going to make it, we're going to put it over here on our website and drive everybody there, and everyone's going to come see it, and then it's like crickets. Mm-hmm. Because we're going to go and consume content where we like to consume it. Like, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, or if Twitter's our deal, or if we go down to local Starbucks in person, we're going to go where we're going to go. So you recognize that, and I think that's smart. You're leaning into that. And then the other thing is loyalty. Like, YouTube's been good for you.
Yeah.
And it's working. So it's like, if it's not broke, don't try and fix it.